This is not that show. This is not that show. This is not that show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a confession to make. Now, we've been making this show week to week now for about 5 weeks, and sometimes we get close to the brink. It really pushes us to the limit, and this week I think we've reached breaking point. It's 2 hours until the show is due at the station, and most of the pieces aren't edited. None of the intros are filmed, and I'm really at a place where I feel that the only course of action left to me is to make the world's strongest pot of English breakfast tea. I'm not sure what will happen. And I really wish it hadn't come to this. But where am I?
You're in a bar called Polly.
But I was...
Where you were is immaterial.
What about
your MacBook Pro is safe. Would you like a drink?
Yes.
Try this.
Not bad. What's it called?
The screaming of a million anguished children.
Kyle, so how old are you?
I'm 14.
And you're in middle school, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so what brings you to the Worldwide Developer Conference?
I'm interested in learning more about sort of the cutting edge of Mac OS X programming.
And is that something they actually teach you in high school?
No.
So you're an independent learner?
I am, yes.
Okay, and what sort of applications have you developed? Have you created any applications yet?
I've done a simple tic-tac-toe program and, a little console-based tic-tac-toe program a long time ago, but once you learn the basics, then you go in and you start learning libraries that other coders have done.
Cool. And so I noticed you've got a VIP badge down there. How does just a simple guy from middle school get a VIP badge to WWDC?
I wrote a letter into Apple.
Oh.
And I was invited.
So you tugged the heartstrings. You said, "I'm just a simple middle school boy."
Yep.
So are there any other kids around here that you've seen, or is it all grown-ups?
I haven't seen anybody else.
Did you get a personal letter from Steve Jobs?
Actually, I wrote a letter to him, and I received a phone call from somebody in Apple, personal phone call.
Oh, that's so sweet. All right, well, I hope you have a great conference, and thanks very much for talking to us at Planet Nerd.
Thank you.
You don't have to be here. You have a choice. You can drink the red drink and wake up in Neverland with your MacBook in your lap and pretend this never happened. Or you can drink the green drink and see how far this rabbit hole goes.
What if I just want to get hammered?
Either drink will get you hammered.
Hey, so it's been a pretty special couple of months, but knowing that you had to go.
Yeah, we'll have to leave the country, so gotta do what I gotta do.
Safe journey.
Yeah, I'll see you later.
Off you go.
Oh, you're too good for sight gags, are you now? Well, f you!
Hi guys. Yeah, so there are 10 types of people in this world. Those who understand binary numbers and those who don't. And
When spoken, this joke makes no sense.
10. Alright. There's 10 types of people in this world. Those who understand binary numbers and those who don't.
This has been the fate of mathematical humour throughout history.
Does anyone have a chalkboard? I could just totally. Can I just show my working out on this one?
The first maths joke was written in LLXIV BC, but for obvious reasons, it took a long time to write down. It wasn't until Arabic numerals came to Europe in the 10th century that the maths joke really took off among mathematicians. But even then, it remained underground. After all, normal people tell jokes, they don't write them down. But in the modern world, the internet has brought the maths joke to a worldwide audience. Most of these jokes are, of course, not pure comedy mathematics, but mock maths, formulae which form vulgar phrases when read aloud, or which capitalise on the lack of mathematical knowledge held by the general public. Take that old misogynist chestnut. Girls are the product of time and money. Time is money, therefore girls equal money squared. Money is the root of all evil, therefore girls are the root of all evil squared, or evil. Or more accurately, plus or minus evil, which is nonsense. Girls, like boys, are the product of sex. As you can see, written down, maths jokes are hilarious. But what's the decimal point of all this? Will the internet-fueled rise of maths jokes cause long division in the wider comedy community? Well, of course not. These are just stupid puns that have nothing to do with real, pure comedy mathematics. But puns do have their place in the world of mathematical comedy.
Okay, what's sour, yellow, and equivalent to the axiom of choice? Zorn's lemon!
Yeah. Nice try.
Now, it's not just the numbers and the mathematics that can make us laugh. We can also derive humour from the stereotype of mathematicians themselves. You might think this stereotype doesn't deviate much from the stereotype of your common or garden scientist. You know, that they're so intelligent, that they're locked away from normal society, that they're incapable of interacting with the world in a normal, everyday fashion. 8, 6, carry the 3, 9.791. Now, of course, this stereotype couldn't be further from the truth, but the stereotype for mathematicians goes even further. They're supposedly so obsessed by numbers, so locked up in the abstract, that they frequently bring mathematical principles into the real world, where they just don't belong.
Hi there, I'm here about the job.
All right, and you worked in a bar before?
No, I'm a mathematician, so I'm sure I could figure it out.
Okay, why don't you come around here and show me what you can do?
Right.
Now, customer comes in, they want a Collingwood spritzer. There's your glass. Wait, you want. Lovely. Alright. Now, let's say they want it with a slice of lemon. What are you doing?
I'm reducing it to a problem I've already solved. Wah, 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 wah.
But in the end, as with any kind of comedy, if you want to reach the lowest common denominator, you need to get a little dirty.
What happened with the constipated mathematician? He worked it out with a pencil. Yeah, 'cause it's, damn, shit.
Okay. What do you call a one-sided nudie bar? Mobius strip club.
That's Paulie Shaw's joke. Get off.
Mathematics.
You are.
Funnier than you think.
Hi, I'm Rob Lloyd, and this is my DVD review. This week I'm going to focus on my favourite TV show in the history of the world. Homicide: Life on the Street, which premiered on American TV in 1993. Based on the book by David Simon, which was released in 1991, tells the gritty, uncompromising, dark, and sometimes depressing and tragic world of working as a real street cop in homicide, murder police, as they like to call them, in Baltimore, one of the most violent cities in America. This series is incredible. It's unavailable in Australia at the moment. You have to get it through Amazon or the internet. But this DVD compilation is fantastic. You've got all of Series 1 and Series 2 of this trailblazing series. You get to see the best work of Daniel Baldwin, and you also get to see Andre Braugher, one of the greatest actors ever to grace the television screen.
2 QRT guys will be placed in the line of fire with the green light to shoot the suspect if necessary.
2 guys, that's all? Who knows what Holden is going to do? He might open fire, might take hostages, or what?
They're the experts on this. Why don't we just let them do their job?
Okay, but I want Holden. I want to bring him down. I don't want any mistakes. You understand?
Calm down, detective.
What are you telling me to calm down? I don't believe I heard you correctly. Calm down.
Mitch,
calm down.
Listen, we're under a lot of stress right now. All of us are, okay?
This is 8 samurai out of 7, 10 samurai out of 7. I cannot speak enough about Homicide: Life on the Street. If you haven't seen it, watch it. I'm Rob Lloyd. Rock the Casbah.
Can I help you, sir?
Yes. Quite a diverse menu you've got here. I will have a kill my captor and escape, thanks.
I'm afraid we're out of those, sir.
Shame. All right. Wait. I will have a walk back out of here and back to my own life and forget this never happened.
Nice try, sir.
Okay. Look, what do you recommend?
I'd recommend the Sarlacc.
Oh, yeah, what's that like?
Well, in it you will experience a new definition of pain and suffering as you slowly digest it over 1,000 years.
Got any beer? Here we are at the Robert Noyce building of Intel Corporation. This is Intel's worldwide headquarters and also the home of the Intel Museum. Microprocessors are in everything. This is one of the most important things that human beings have ever invented, and Intel was there right from the start.
Well, I'm a docent and a tour guide, and we also do a lot of education programs here for the field trips that come on in. So, help with the education department and run the tours.
So you get school kids coming in here?
Yeah, a lot of school kids. It's great because it's free, and it's very educational. We do a very good job, I think, explaining the basics of microprocessors to from 2nd grade on up to high school.
Okay, so how long has the museum been around, and what's the history of the museum?
Museum was, I think, about 13 years old, founded by Gene Jones, who was a secretary early on in the history of Intel, and decided that the history was so rich and so many kind of interesting things that happened that we should start a museum. So took a bunch of stuff out of the archives, and from what I understand, kind of a humble operation at first, but it's grown into quite a nice little museum here.
Now, computer technology obviously moves really fast, and so do you find you're constantly having to update the museum with new stuff all the time? Well, yeah,
certainly it's what we call a living museum, which means that we're always trying to changing things. Of course, we can't change it quite as fast as technology, and that's one of the big problems. People want to come in and know about the latest stuff, and we don't necessarily know about all the latest stuff. But we're always updating the museum. Ironically enough, the latest exhibit was about Intel's first microprocessor, the 4004, which is just celebrating its 35th anniversary. So You know, of course we can't for every new chip have a new exhibit or something like that, but we you know, do try to update at least the content of the tour periodically.
Now there's an urban myth that I heard years ago, and I always wanted to know whether it was true, and maybe you can help me with this, maybe you can't, but I heard that the 4004 was originally developed as a processor for like washing machines, and that it actually had instructions on the chip that they later got rid of for like spin and rinse.
That must have been something that that got lost in translation over the over the Pacific. But no, the actual story is that the original design was for a calculator called the Bizicom. And with the Japanese company, it was a Nippon Calculating Company, came to Intel, and they wanted them to design 12 separate chips for their calculator, which was about yay big, and it's over there, so you can get a nice cut shot of that there. But pretty much they decided that why would you want 12 chips that could only be used for that calculator when you could have 4 chips that were programmable. So they had an input unit, an output unit, memory unit, and a CPU unit, and the CPU unit became the 4004.
Cool.
So no, it wasn't for a washing machine. It was for a calculator. I know. Sorry about that.
Never mind. I won't tell anyone in Australia the real story. The fake story is much more exciting.
Conan O'Brien was here just a couple weeks ago.
Cool. Like filming some stuff, or just
no. He did a whole segment. He took a bunch of kids that we had, a bunch of second graders, and like they all ran around upstairs and did a bunch of stuff in the museum and went to the clean room.
Look at this. In 1987, the 80C186 embedded processor in surface mount technology was announced. It's the SMT package, right? Yeah!
Oh, cool.
So yeah, in a couple years when you get a little bigger, you can have the same privileges that Conan does, right?
I wish. So just tell me quickly, what are the different components of the museum that you've got here?
Well, we have, I think there's 3 basic segments. There's the history timeline, right, where we kind of talk about all the big advancements and all the big products over the years. There's a part that really focuses on the science, the basic science. And, as an educational tool, I think the museum is really great because, we pretty much take the basics of semiconductor science, which is pretty complex, and break it down in a very, kind of easy to understand, lots of cool visual, hands-on kind of stuff. And then in the back we have what is called the fab section, where we talk about the manufacturing and the fabrication process. You have to dress up in a bunny suit.
These are called bunny suits. Why are they called bunny suits? I have no idea. Perhaps they originally used them to deliver the chips in large chocolate eggs. However, these days, the chips are delivered on huge, round discs. These bunny suits are about more than just staying clean. They are the centre of Intel's marketing campaign, one of the most successful campaigns in the history of marketing. Yep. Now, I'm going to ask the tough questions.
Oh, sure,
here. This is going to be a tough question.
I'm ready for it.
This is something like, when I was younger, I was massively into Intel chips. I was the 386 to 486. I was there learning all about it and really into the technology. Now, but one thing that always really got to me about Intel's kind of branding and advertising was Intel chips enable you to use the web, or Intel chips are good for video or audio. They're general purpose chips. They just crunch long lists of numbers. Is this just a marketing thing, or is there usually specific stuff in there that really does make that stuff faster?
Well, it's a little bit of from column A, a little bit from column B, I think, is the long and the short answer to the question. Certainly, Intel's genius, and in terms of why they've become so successful, is their marketing, and also the chip design. Certainly, for example, the Pentium 3 really was one of the first chips that focused on the internet, right? So certainly working with all the partners to make sure that all the software and all the interfacing can work with the hardware is a big part of being successful, right? You don't want to make a chip and nobody's software can run on it, right? But in terms of the marketing, I think that's really where where the real genius was from my perspective, just because I'm more of a creative kind of person anyway. But yeah, certainly. I think the statistic is that Intel's the 4th most recognizable brand in the world.
Wow.
Right behind Coca-Cola, and what we sell is a kind of esoteric product, right?
Yeah, because it's amazing because it must. it's so hard conceptually to sort of market something that essentially just adds one number to another. So this is why Intel has gone and sort of said, oh, it's about video, it's about the internet. These are things people can relate to about the higher level functionality of computers.
And of course, the big one was the Intel Inside campaign, right?
Yeah.
Putting little stickers on your computer and the little 5-note audio jingle. Cut away to 5-note. There we go. And really, people did in the mid '90s and to this day start buying computers because they had Intel silicon in them, right? I mean, it's like, we knew you were getting a good computer if you had an Intel microchip.
That's
in
right.
it, right? And it really kind of, revolutionized the way people did buy computers. One of my favorite comments that I've ever gotten in the museum was a woman once we were, kind of going along looking at the digital transformations, and she said, "Well, don't you think that we've kind of reached the end?" Right? And I go, think about, in 1980, which was like what, 27 years or 30 years ago, right? People were like, "Oh no, we can play Pong and do some word processing. Where else could we possibly go?"
Okay, cool. All right, now we like to ask at the end of our interviews a couple of generic nerd questions, just fire them at you because we are Planet Nerd.
Sure.
So I have to get this on record. Are you a comic fan at all?
No, I can't say I am. Sorry.
Okay. All right. What about sci-fi?
Well, I love Star Wars and all that.
All right. Okay. So if it's Star Wars versus Star Trek, which one?
Oh, Star Wars, definitely.
Star Wars, definitely. Okay. If it was Batman versus Superman?
Probably Batman.
Batman. Yeah. Okay. You're cool.
All right.
Thanks very much for being on the show.
No problem, man. Absolutely.
So that was the Intel Museum, and I want to thank all the staff for their time and efforts, and also for my little present. Hello, little guy. So, mate, you seriously don't have any women here at all? No. You call this a metaphysical plane? Huh? Metaphor for what? Not having a cock. Anyway, I've got a TV show. Did I tell you that? You know what? I get nothing but bullshit. Nothing but bullshit. From everyone. But mate, let me tell you one thing. I get so... That really is strong.
Hi, I'm Captain Dan, the leader of this fine vessel. Now, if you feel that you have an idea that's nerdy enough to appear on the show, just send an email to dan@planetnerd.tv. You never know, you may be the world's next super nerd. Would that be good? Yeah, I think so.